Wake up!
Did that just start?
Yeah, how'd
Oh,
you?
I'm just on.
What are you doing?
I'm
Are you
on the
reading?
Facebook. I'm watching it on Facebook.
Oh,
I'm on. I'm like throwing likes in there. Now I see that we
what?
started. But I said I had 20 seconds to go before we got started, so I
There's
guess
a
I was wrong.
delay. There's a
Right.
delay. There's
Right.
always.
Hey, Mirage.
Hey, Hughie, Stonefish.
That's me. Happy Hollywood Accountability Wednesday.
Yeah, so
I'm
much
so
has
excited
happened
for
since.
today's episode. I know, since we were
I'm.
the last on here.
I know. I still have to cover the debate. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I had to work.
Cover it
So
for what? For whom?
just
For which?
react to it.
Oh, just like online.
Like a stream.
Let's do it
You
right
want to do
now.
it
Let's
together?
dish. I watched the whole thing.
I mean, if
Yeah.
we oh you want Dish? Because I'm like, you want to watch it again?
No, 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 no.
That's whack. Um, it was a childish. Like you can't even say if it went well or not
Right.
because it's like watching. It's like it's supposed to be a football game, but it's actually table hockey. And if you say who won, you don't really know who won because
Mm,
what are the rules of this game? You know what I mean? It's like it
right.
wasn't football. This doesn't. It
Right.
didn't make any sense. It's a
Right.
huge. It's just proof that I'm a Russian bot.
Something that I found striking about it was like I feel like it seems to me that Donald Trump has come in and one of the biggest things that he's done
Hmm.
is said we're changing how everything is done. I don't care about your rules. I'm playing by my own rules. And I think a lot of people like that about him.
Yeah.
So he came to that debate and the moderator kept being like, "You've agreed, bro, like you agreed to follow these rules." And he was like, "Rules don't apply to me. I'm the president
Right.
of the United States of America. I can do whatever I want." And so,
Right.
it's interesting because in many ways we do need to overhaul our government. We need to like
Hmm.
fix a lot of the systems that are in place.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of messed up stuff. So in some ways it's like, yeah, bro, let's change everything up. Let's do it all different, but like not with him, not with his ideology. We don't need to change it to what he wants.
Ooh, have you seen the Comey Rule? HBO? No,
Mm-mm,
Showtime. Oh, I was just
mm-mm.
watching it. It's. I'm only on the first episode, and I don't watch TV or anything. All I watch is White House press secretary stuff. But I, it's. I don't know. Is he a Russian spy? Like, what's happening? Like that. So far in the first episode, it's like what? What are we talking about? The change that we need is just completely not Trump. We knew that in the first
Mm,
place. The fact that he is president is it's not just him, it's the voice of our of America saying, okay, you got a black president, you think we're going to give you a female president right now? We're not going backwards like that. That was the
right,
voice. So he
right.
just happens to be the person to like personify that voice. But
Right.
it's you got to watch it. It's insane. You got to watch it.
Yeah. It was definitely, I mean, I feel like the biggest news story that I've seen was about him mobilizing, the Proud Boys and other supremacist groups to do voter suppression and to continue doing what they're doing and to sort of level up a lot of
Yeah.
the hateful, bad stuff. So that's scary.
Right.
That actually was very scary for me to have someone in that platform just tell people to like stand back and stand by, like await
He
orders.
said
That was
stand
alarming.
by. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said stand
Pretty
up and
pretty
stand back and stand
alarming.
by. Right.
Pretty alarming. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean like watching it I watched it twice and shout out to Henry Kaiser out there who told me not to watch it because he was like
So
it's
not to
very
watch
it's
it because
well
it's so
because they
intense.
watch and Aaron Toach he too right across the street right across the ways he was like he said he'll pray for me while I watch it because I
I
wasn't
didn't
able to
even hit
watch
up
it in
Toki
real
because I was
time.
like, it's not
Yeah,
worth. Cause like me and Toki could just go because we live right,
I
literally
always say
down the
his
hall from
last
each other.
name wrong.
I was like, I cannot even message him about this right now because it's just too crazy. It was like the whole night. I was like, I took myself for a walk. I tried to like listen to music. I watched news coverage. It was very intense.
It was an intense night, and it was just insane because you're just like, this can't be real. This can't be real life. And why wasn't he muted? Why didn't they mute his mic ever? Why was Chris Wallace the moderator and he's a Fox News dude? What is going on?
But you can't mute the president of the United States and the leader of the Democratic Party. You can't just be out there muting their mics.
Why? What's the point in having what's the point in saying you have 2 minutes? What's
Well, I feel like what we are seeing, yeah, I agree that was BS because they didn't do it. But I feel like what we are seeing is these two people go at each other. And so part of it is like, well, if you mute their mic, then we don't see the things that Trump says when he's not supposed to be talking. We don't see the way that Joe Biden communicates when someone is bullying him. We need to see that because we need these people running our government and negotiating with big foreign powers and local powers. And we need to see what they do when someone's rude to them.
But it's like, why then, why not just give them brass knuckles and some street gear and let them go at it that way? This isn't.
That's honestly what I thought was going to happen.
Did it look like?
I feel like at this point, if Joe Biden just clocks Donald Trump,
right? I was thinking that too. I was like, is he gonna hit him? Because he looked over one time and I thought he was praying. Yeah, that was whack. That was so stupid. It was such a low blow, and it was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was just, everything about it was surreal and
right.
And it just made everything. It just kind of made everything not mean anything anymore.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of this feels like. Well, maybe we should talk about what we're doing, because I know Hollywood Accountability, I think actually starting next week, we're going to be releasing videos about all of the things that are on the ballot, the California ballot, because we want to make sure that people vote. And, I know a lot of people, myself included, traditionally it's like, I know who I'm voting for president, and then maybe I'll just vote all Democrat, or maybe I just won't vote at all. And if things seem complex, I just won't vote for them. So what we want is that when you show up, you get that ballot, you can spend a little bit of time, like, what does Prop 21 say? And how do I feel about it? Who should I vote for? Because sometimes it's like, well, I voted Democrat, but this person was really shitty, so maybe I should try Republican. What does this Republican think? So we have those videos coming out so people can look to us. And there's many resources. Our goal wasn't to be the only resource. Our goal was just to be another resource that people can use so that we can vote and actually make some change. And I think a lot of us are seeing like, oh, it's not just the president that decides things. It's not just the president and the congressman. Like, there's so many different layers.
They're judges.
Of voting. We see judges
that you might have to go in front of and be like, hey, please listen to me. And then when they're just playing, I don't know, Pokemon Go. Yeah, let's say that. When they're playing Pokemon Go up there, and you're just like, hey, this is, please listen to me. This is us. We're the ones who need to be putting people into these seats. So.
Right.
I don't even know.
Okay,
so,
well,
it's
that concludes our warm-up for today. And now I'd like us to transition smoothly into a segment of today's Hollywood discussion that I'm very excited about. And this segment is...
Oh, okay. Really?
Hughie? Wait. Hughie Stonefish interviews Mirage. This is your theme song. Hughie's interviewing Mirage for the first time on his Hollywood discussions. Every question Mirage will answer truthfully. Okay.
Probably.
Welcome, everyone. Okay, Mirage, you know what I realized? Like, you have become such a fixture of the comedy community. You have become such a fixture of the comedy scene. You have done so much behind the scenes and also in front of the scenes to empower people and help people and shape the spaces that a lot of us spent a lot of time in and will spend time back in once this pandemic is different than it is now. So, I realize there's a lot of ways to find out information about you, but I just want to know, what was your start in comedy, Mirage?
My start in comedy was my dad. My dad was a comedian, and he would come. We lived in Alaska, and he would go to lower 48 and Second City and study, and then bring it back up to us and teach us improv games and stuff like that. So we were. That was our love language.
your first gig in comedy, like your first thing. Like when did you know? When did you have your first job in comedy? And when did you
Uh-huh.
know like comedy is what I'm doing? That's what I'm going to be doing. It's what I love to do.
Hmm. Because I always think about the first show I did by myself, and I don't really think about like when I first got on stage.
Okay, wait a second. I didn't hear any of that.
What? I always, can
Sorry.
you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I
Can you
can
hear
hear you
me?
now. Yep, yep, yep,
Come
yep,
here.
yep, yep, yep,
I
yep,
always think
yep.
about the first show I did myself and not really like
Hmm.
when I got on stage first. I think that the first show, oh, I don't even know. I can't say. I can't say.
Wow. I wonder.
It was
I
a long
wonder what this
time.
experience is like watching for people because I just heard you robot twice in a row there.
Robot. Oh no, hold.
First time you got on
Can't.
stage.
I don't remember, but I do remember the first time I was.
Ah, that's what you were saying.
I do remember that it was. I remember the first time I it did stand up, and I killed it, but the jokes were whack. And I think I took it took me like 3 weeks. Am I robot?
No, you're fine.
What's wrong with you? What's going on? Hello? I don't know what kind of gaslighting this is, where Hughie Stonefish says that he's going to interview me and then decides he's going to jump off. Okay, so that's you.
Hey, we're leaving the live stream with Hughie and Mirage.
Kind of, what happened?
You know what? Who knows? Okay,
I don't remember
here's
when
a
I
question.
first I remember when I first performed stand up, and I didn't have any problems. I think it was Comedy Works in Denver. That was the first time I did like real stage stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Let's talk about Denver because you had a whole comedy career in Denver.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what was that like? Because for me, my comedy career started in LA. I mean, I was doing comedy sort of in high school,
Right.
but like I've been doing comedy in LA at the same theaters basically, and now of course I'm doing things, across the country, but it's like you had a whole career in Denver and then you came to LA.
Right. In fact, I was like starting to create more shows and stuff, and then moved to LA in the middle of that, like in the middle of like kind of building up. So, um, in Denver, I mean, I miss Denver. Denver is like that old ex-boyfriend that you just like, that dude was okay.
Mm.
Denver, I started like, I mean, Denver is my comedy home. There was, of course, like Comedy Works is a big place for me. Um, Impulse Theater. Um, there was Bovine out there. A lot of different places that, yeah, it's such a small community, and there's a community of comics here that are from Denver, and that still keep in touch and all of that. But I always say that my comedy mentor is was Hippie Man, who he doesn't go by Hippie Man anymore, goes by John, but people know him by Hippie Man now, and
That's what I know him by.
people know him by Hippie Man, and he's one of the funniest people um, in the world to me, and he taught me a lot about like just the technical parts of comedy. So,
Okay, that's a great segue into my next question, which is
okay.
it's a twofer. I want to know what makes you funny and what do you think makes someone or something funny?
The weird thing is that I don't always think that I'm funny. Like
But
I
you are
ask
funny.
people, "Hey, thank you." I mean, it's like I don't feel like I'm funny. I just feel so. That's a hard question to answer. The only thing I know is that I just say whatever jumps into my head. So I'll say, that I see something and I say it and then I regret it. and then I try and fix it. I think that what makes people funny though is that they speak their truth. So like the truth, just whatever your view of life is, that you are able to communicate that in a way. I don't think I don't think everyone is naturally funny. I think people can learn to be funny and you can discover funny in people. So, I think other people, I mean, it depends. You have to listen to what it is that you laugh at, what it is that attracts you to that person. Like sometimes it's the way that they say things, sometimes it's the characters that they do. Um, Sometimes it's just a spirit about them that seems fun. Um, so that's why anytime I teach comedy, I actually have that first class where I don't have anything and I just am trying to get to know the people in the class because there's something there that I can pick out and say, okay, this is what it is. So that doesn't, I mean, that doesn't answer anything, but it's what I do.
Or does it answer everything?
Maybe it answers everything.
We'll let our
It's the,
our audience decide that. Okay, what is your philosophy on writing, Mirage?
oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I'm directing Top Dog Underdog, and the playwright of that is is a very big inspiration because what she does is she will allow the characters to talk to her, to speak to her, and then these ideas that are inside of her, um, they spill out onto the page. And I think that's how it is uh, with me. It's therapy. I feel like I've had so much life packed into just a small 25 years. Just 25 years. So much life packed into 25 years. Um, that it will hurt if it doesn't come out of you, because so sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
just have to, like for me it's not really a philosophy, it's just what I do. I just have to jot things down or write down premises or write down jokes, something just to get it out. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
start with, and then if I ever get into that flow, then I allow it to keep flowing. So
Cool. Okay, Mirage,
yes, Huey
please talk
Stonefish.
about your goals.
My goals,
This is an intentionally open-ended question.
my goals are to fight the power, defeat evil, and create a world of justice. And uh, in the middle of that, maybe like kick it. I mean, like there's, I just kind of, I mean, I said yesterday on a podcast that like my life is like one big long form improv scene. Everything life is taking me in a direction, and I do have goals, and mostly I want to be able to love better here, if that's a huge goal of mine. And so everything that comes from that, people might think that uh, becoming becoming like this level in a worldly view is what my goal is, but that's not what my goal is. My goal is to create a vivid life for me and the people that are around me, and a life that we can feel, and a life that we can really love in, with as little pain as possible.
So let's take that and sort of focus specifically on your work with comedy theaters, especially as it relates to LA. But I also know that your work has expanded in terms of recalibrating and reshaping the way that theater spaces are functioning. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
that work is greater than just what you're doing in Los Angeles. And I know there's a lot of stuff that people see that's very public facing, Facebook posts, whatever the case may be, articles. But I also know that there's a lot of stuff that happens that people don't see and may never hear about for for whatever reason. So I would like to know, and I think I assume people would like to know, like, what does that work look like that you're doing? Um, yeah.
Hmm. It just is. Well, I mean, like you're a big part of the work that I'm doing, right? Because like I think we inspire each other to move to put things into action. Otherwise, we both have a lot of great. I mean, we both have ideas about change, and then we are just like, yeah, that sucks. So I think that that's a unique component of the things that we are both doing, and even if we're doing them separately, is that we both can we inspire each other to go. Like, yeah, do it, go, move forward. That's good. And we also tell each other that we're both like severely flawed and maybe we don't know what we're talking about. So, I mean, what it looks like is that we both have this understanding. I think we're both empathetic people, but we're not overly empathetic. So we also have
Mm,
the ability um, to make things happen in a certain way. Um, Without being so focused on what is in it for me.
right.
We see what's happening and we understand, because I know that you have this big connection with Syracuse, and and that we both have these hearts to change lives for experiences of that was incorrect grammar, but change lives and change experiences that maybe we don't experience, and
Right.
to and so that's also part of the understanding everybody that's around you, and understanding how to love better and understanding how to like live life better. So I think that what I don't remember the question. John
I
Smith
mean, that
is
was a
driving
great
me
answer.
crazy.
That was a. Who is John Smith?
John Smith.
I can't hear
If
him.
he can I I'm gonna
Jk.
mute myself. Okay, I know you can hear him.
Are
Hold
you
on
gonna
just a
bring him
second.
up here so we can all see John Smith?
Please don't make
Maybe
me
that's
do
what he.
that.
That's maybe that's what we
John
need.
Smith, come
Here we
here.
go. We'll do a John Smith break. John
Come here.
Smith with Mirage.
Come here. Come here. Come
John
here.
Smith with Mirage. It
Come
is
here.
time for John Smith to
Come up
be
here.
in the discussions with
Come
Hughie.
on.
Interviews
Oh my
Mirage.
gosh. Okay, he's coming. This dude gets on my last
Oh
nerve.
my God! Look at this little dog, everyone.
Right. Look at this dude.
Yes, look at this
He's
tiny
so
little
annoying.
dog. This little cute little gremlin. Oh
Look at
my
you.
God! Look at that. It's like ASMR, dog ASMR right now with him up against the microphone.
It's all about
So, oh,
gaslighting. This guy is a manipulator. He's
so
manipulative.
cute though. He's so cute. He
He's
has no backbone. You can just roll him up in a ball.
uh-huh.
Ugh,
What's this about?
what a
What is
little
this? What
cutie.
does he want from me? What
What a
does he
little
want?
cutie. Oh my
He just
God.
wants.
Okay. Thank you, John
Okay,
Smith, for being a part of the show.
you gotta
John
go now.
Smith, that was great, but now you have to go.
Go, go. John,
Um,
John
thank
Smith,
you.
please. Oh, sorry. Sorry, that's you.
Are you listening to my song right
I
after I play
decided to watch the stream right now as it's happening. I'm like, what can I
it?
do right now? Go, go, go,
So,
get down.
Mirage, you
Hmm.
did sort of answer my question, but I'd also like to um, reframe us a little bit about the question because I want to know really about what. Um, Here, I'll start.
Okay.
Something Hollywood Accountability is going to announce very soon is an open letter. We're doing a community contract
Hmm.
that we'll be asking for signatures from the community, and we'll be asking for signatures from theaters to for us to hold them accountable and for them to hold themselves accountable to guidelines that will ensure that the theaters are safer spaces than they've ever been before for members of the community. So that's like a very specific thing that we are doing, that we've been working on, that I've been working on, that you've been working on, that no one even knows about because we haven't made the contract. Yeah, I mean, people know because we've been talking with people about it and, trying to make
Right.
sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and all that. But it's not something
I
that, like,
remember your
you could
question
go to
now.
my Facebook page and see, oh, Huey's working on a community contract. So, I know that you're doing a lot of emails, you're having a lot of phone calls, you're doing a lot of outreach. Like, what does that look like?
I'm sorry, I had to yell to get the dog. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work, and I think there are a few people like you know the most, and that's the thing about this. You know the most about me. Period. You know the most about me probably now more than like my family does. Like And even like as far as like friendship, I can tell sometimes like when you're like, hey, I don't feel like Huey's having a good day or something like that, or I'll have a horrible dream about you where you're like kicking it with my ex, and I'm like, what is that about,
That never
Huey?
happened. That never
Yeah, it
happened.
makes me so mad. Why is it reoccurring then? But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and that's the thing is that like sometimes I think that passion just drives me more than practicality. I guess it's um, there are a lot of discussions that are happening, and to make
Yeah.
them happen and to make it so that we actually see change and there's not lip service, some of the stuff has to be kept behind the scenes, and
Right.
some of it, so a lot of the stuff has to be not completely visible
Hmm.
to everybody until,
Right.
I mean, there are moments and there are things that come out, like I would say, like for a lot of the Second City stuff, if you visit the page you can see changes that have been made,
Mm.
but I can't come out and say, hey guys, look what's happened, because it's going to, that would only discredit everything that we've done and make
Right.
it so that we aren't able to have like further change. Like once you get kind
Right.
of deep, legal
Right.
stuff comes
Right.
into play, and credibility, and if I have these relationships where people will take my phone calls, and
Right.
we can discuss how to make changes,
Right.
then I can't post it everywhere. I can't be like, guess what,
Right.
everybody? I just
Right.
it's a relationship, and
Right.
some of the relationships are rocky, and some of the
Right.
relationships are just me constantly like reaching out to people. Um, but I feel no fear in that. I don't feel like there's any reason not to right now. So, but yeah, they're all relationships, and that's why they're not all visible all the time.
So when we think about relationships, I know something that I have struggled with, and I think a lot of people who are striving to make change. I mean, even as I don't want to say simple, but as pulled back as like someone who's trying to have a dialogue with a family member about different political views. It's like you have to sometimes walk that balance of, I can't just come out here and tell you, you effing idiot, you're so
Right.
dumb, do this and this, because if I say that to you, you're never going to answer my call again. You're
Right.
never gonna respond to me. So, how do you walk that balance as someone who's trying to, look people in the eye? I to use that term in quotes right now, but look people in the eye and say, you're doing something wrong and you need to change, and here's why, and I'm holding you accountable, but also leave it so that when they get an email from you, they're not gonna be like, you know what, I'm just not gonna respond
Like,
anymore
what
and
if I
see what
don't say
happens.
anything? Yeah.
Right. How do
Yeah.
you walk that fine line?
I mean, it has to do with
Or do you
credibility.
not? Or do you just say,
Ah.
fuck it, you know what I mean? I don't care. Like, I'm just going to email you a million times. It doesn't matter if you're going to email me back. You will at some point.
I mean, there's a little bit of that too. There's a little bit of like, hey, you didn't respond to me, and
Right.
why? And you know what? And
Right.
because I've always believed, this is a thing from me being like a kid. I always believe that we're equal. I mean, unless you do something that makes it so, that where you're hurting someone that is not, as that is in a different situation physically or emotionally or whatever,
Right.
and you are taking advantage of that, that's not an equal situation. But as far as us being born and being human, we're equal. We all have the same desire to be loved. All have the same desires to be, all of that. So to me, there's no reason why I shouldn't email you if I'm respectful, and I have a actual goal. There's an actual, I'm actually trying to make some kind of change or have some kind of discussion. There's no reason for you not to. And I think the way that I've lived naturally up to this point in these 25 years of life, um, I think that this point has just been a culmination of me not being a dick. So because I'm not a dick, I can actually come up, and it's really hard to discredit me because I haven't treated people poorly in the past.
Right.
So it's not really like, um, it's not hard to do, but I can understand how it could be hard to do. It's just something. It's just kind of like, I know that I'm a talented person. Nobody who I'm talking to can tell me, well, you're not talented. No one can tell
Right.
me that. Like it's a self
Right.
discovery that I've already figured that out. So, and I also know that I'm worthy. I'm a worthy person. And what my message is and what we're trying to change or do is something that needs to be done. So all of that
Right.
together means that it's easy to like talk to people. You know, there's no reason not to. John Smith,
Okay. Thank you.
motherfucker.
That was great. That was a nice little just row we went on. I'm going to go back to my previously written out questions. Okay. Can you share about what this pandemic has been like for you?
It's been brilliant. It's been amazing. Thank you for asking. It's just it's fantastic. It's really it's you know it, and I'm lying. It's been kind of horrible. I mean, it's not completely horrible. It's just a change. And I think the thing is that the thing that's horrible is the fact that we can't see the people that we love. And
Right.
we just saw each other
Right.
for the first time in person
Right.
a couple weeks ago or something like that,
Right.
and
When I
that
used
was
to
like
see
a
you at least once a week
yeah,
for over a year. At least if it was once a
at
week, that was like,
least.
oh wow, only one time.
At least even
Right.
when we were like in different states is like
Right.
we
Right.
would try, you know what I mean? It's like, hey. I mean, if and sometimes you're playing video games with Jordan. I don't even know you, so you're talking to
Right. Right. Right.
somebody in my
Right.
family at some
Right.
point,
Right.
and I but it's like this has been super weird, and it's been horrible because of the not being able to be with your family and not being able to touch people. Like I just saw my mom, but I couldn't touch her, and that was and I didn't even realize how different it is to not be physically with somebody.
Mm.
You know, like you still like, oh, okay, we still talk, but with the physical part of it is so different.
Right.
It's so important.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like that's a thing that is very unfortunate, but there's also some ways where it's like, you know, you know me, like the people that I love,
yeah,
I'm gonna hug you, we're gonna
yeah,
touch, like blah blah blah
yeah.
blah blah, like
We'll die
But
together.
if I don't, yeah, but I'm like, but if I don't know you, like, bro, please do not touch me. Like my
That
body,
is
my
so
choice, my
funny.
space.
Because that's how we're the same. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to somebody about, like, how I don't know. Like, I have friends and they're very close to me, but I don't know who my neighbors are. And I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about that. And then we're both like
That we're
that,
both
you
that
know?
way. Yeah, if we're homies, like let's go. I hug my homies, like everything. But if I don't know you, it's this like social. It's one of those social contracts, and I'm glad there. I feel like there's a movement with kids, like teaching kids about touching and consent. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, you don't
Yeah.
have to just go like touch this person. So I do think in some ways, like there's been times now when I leave like a situation and like we don't hug, we don't shake hands, we don't fist bump. It's just like peace. See
You
you
do that a
later.
lot. You even have pictures like that.
Like in Syracuse, like I don't have a beard.
Right. Like, who is this?
I
And
know.
it's Joe Biden.
If only he was teaching comedy right now.
By the way, doesn't he
Um,
look like his eyebrows are the same color as his skin? Or is that just something? That's all I'm saying.
I gotta Google it right now. Out of respect to everyone
And he
watching.
does seem, he
Joe
sounds like he
Biden.
smells like peppermint. He sounds like he smells like those big
Well, he does. I feel you on that with the eyebrow
peppermints.
situation.
Yeah, it looks like his eyebrows, I can't explain it, like his eyebrows are growing in the same color as his skin.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
What else did you take
Yeah.
away from that debate last night?
From last night,
Are
I
you
took
gonna
away
watch the
that
other ones?
from the, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch all of them
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I am trying to get medicated properly, and then I'm gonna sit up, watch them all. I think that look, here's what I took away from it. We can't expect Joe Biden to be Barack Obama. He's not Obama.
Right,
You know, like he was Obama was Obama, and then he had Joe Biden, and Joe Biden
right,
is a white dude who is Joe
right,
Biden. He
right,
is he. We can't
right.
expect him to like bring up like kind of like become Barack Obama. I don't really when we were
No,
like watching Obama, we weren't like thinking about Joe Biden really. We're just like glad he's there, making it
right.
so, you know, Obama doesn't get shot or
Right. And then
something,
like
you
I've been
know?
in politics for a million years, and I'm an
Right.
older white gentleman, so maybe you'll
Yeah.
listen. I feel like that was sort of my feeling. Like, well, I guess it's maybe for how messed up the system is, maybe having someone like Biden there will help.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're starting to know more and more that he's just not Obama. We can't expect him to be. It's not even fair for us to think that. But, I mean, first of all, we got to get Trump out of office. That's just a given. So
Right.
then we have to be more involved in our government. We can't just be sitting back. And I always say that it's kind of like a preteen at home, that your
Mm.
needs are getting met and you're just like, hey, I'm fed and there's a
Right.
roof and the lights are
Right.
on and it's cool.
Right.
And so I'm not going to
Right.
really like make any choice, like I'm not going to mess anything up. So,
Right.
your parents are getting along. It's great.
Right.
But it's like just, and we've been like that for a long time. We just kind of been
Right.
like, we go in, we vote, and then who are these judges? I don't know, eeny meeny,
Right.
and back and
Right. Right.
forth,
Right.
and Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Like we don't pay any attention. We haven't been paying attention, and so even if Joe Biden is our next president, it doesn't mean that we have to stop and be like, oh, great, the lights are back on. We have to keep going. We have to the world has to change, and that's the good thing about the pandemic is that it's a sudden and drastic change. Um, it's horrible. 200,000 people have died. So just preface it with that. And that is not anything to even, and then the fear of dying too. That's another thing. It's a change. It's making everything change. We have to adjust. And I think everybody who is a good improviser should apply their skills to this time of their life, because this is the time to kind of yes and say, okay, look, I can't change it. It happened. And now what do I do with this?
Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people, think about and struggle with. Something that you and I have talked about a lot is like finding those actual actionable things that we can change.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone has something that they can do. We can't all pass laws. Most of us can't pass laws.
Right.
So like, okay, I can't pass a law, but what can I actually do to affect change? And it's like if we all affect change in a very small way for the
Mm-hmm.
good, then the
Mm-hmm.
good will be happening.
Yeah. And then sometimes you're the director, sometimes you're the actor, sometimes you're
Mm.
the, you know what I mean? Like you and
Right.
you've directed me before and I've directed
Right.
you before. And it's
Right.
like, but we know
Right.
how to be in that position. And even as
Right.
friends, we could be like, we are respectful of each
Right.
other's direction. There's never a
Right.
problem in that so
Right.
far,
Right.
and I don't think there
Wait
are.
till the
I'm
next
just,
question.
it's like,
No, I'm
okay,
just
what?
kidding.
What?
No,
Oh,
I'm just
what?
kidding. No,
Absolutely.
no, no. I do agree, and I think that that's a really good point of like knowing, like, and it's even bring it back to Constantine. Knowing like Constantine is someone who I believe will do the legal law stuff and will pass the laws that like I would pretty much agree with. So in
Hmm.
that way, it's like I'm not gonna go run for city council, but I'll support this
Right.
dude who I know who will run for
Yes.
city council.
Yeah, and the things that you have strengths in, you can use those strengths to help to promote this. It's like Captain
Right.
Planet. Did anybody ever see Captain Planet? It's like you get
Oh yeah.
together. Yeah,
Earth, wind, fire, water, heart.
right. And I'm fire. Or maybe I'm
We
heart.
always made fun of
You're
heart in my family.
heart.
Heart,
Heart?
bruh, that's not an element.
Just
It's
coming
like a
up like
feeling.
it's like I think you were adopted. No, it's like all coming together. It doesn't we can't do anything by ourselves. No one can do anything by
Mm,
ourselves. If we actually just worked by ourselves, we would die out as a human race. We can't do it.
mm,
No matter how
mm.
how independent we feel, we still need each other. Which is why the whole go ahead. What'd you say?
This is great. I have just a few more questions, and this leads
Oh,
perfectly into one
okay,
of them.
great.
When you say we can't do things by ourselves, so I was actually
Hmm.
just talking with Kev Lou today
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
music and about us, sort of streamlining our process and bringing more people in. And when I left Berklee College of Music, I thought that in order to be a successful musician who people respected, I had to do
Hmm.
everything myself. I had to
Right.
make a song, and I had to be able to tell people I
Yeah.
produced that track. I played all the instruments. I wrote
Hmm.
every single lyric. No one, what I mean? I did everything. I engineered it. And now I'm like, I don't care who. Let's get the best people for the job to do it. or whatever, people who have the time or the energy, whatever the case may be. So how do you, as someone who is both like a solo artist, because you're a writer, you can do that by yourself, but you're also a great collaborator, and you are involved in many projects, both creatively and also in terms of Hollywood accountability. So how do you navigate like being two things: one, going solo versus collaborating, and two, something that you say that really resonates with me, that I'll talk to you more about later, about the idea of being a leader versus being a boss.
Oh, yeah.
So
What was the first question again? I'm sorry.
how do you navigate when to go solo and when to collaborate?
Okay. So I think that for me, and you know me, I'm a very I don't know, it's not really pull away, but I'm really just independent. Like I feel like the reason I say we all need each other and I emphasize that is because there are times that I feel like I really don't need anybody, and I feel
Right.
sometimes that is my drive too, like what you were saying,
Mm.
to not have to depend on someone else to get something done. So if
Mm.
I have to create a show and there is no director, I need to learn the art of direction so
Wow.
that I don't have to depend on someone saying, oh, well, or having that, or even trying to communicate what it is that I'm trying to like say in a piece
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
My first love is writing. So that's who I am. But everything else that I do is to create an environment to express that. So like production and acting, comedy. Comedy is just kind of like part of it. Um, but but then when you realize that you need someone, and like that kind of like takes me to a place that's kind of like personal that I really don't talk about. But the fact that like 2 years ago, I think that was a big change for me. And in that, I was going through a lot of stuff. And you saved my life. And I say that out to a lot of people. I mean, now I'm saying it and I'm so like quiet about things that happen to me because they are, mm, they're sacred. They don't belong to everybody. You know what I mean? Like everything that happens doesn't always belong to everybody. It's not gossip and it's not like, it's not tea. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's sacred and it is a real journey that we went through, and you fought for me and you fought for the girls. And before that though, it wasn't like, and now you're their godfather, because at the very
Right.
beginning of that you were their godfather first. And one of the things that you said to me when, because I don't tell people what's going on, but I told you about the things that were going on in my life because I felt like I had to for some reason, because you have some kind of weird, like, I don't know, voodoo. He's a witch. Anyway, it's like I I felt like I had to, and I always feel like I have to tell you stuff. And it's so messed up. I don't know. It's like, guess what? There's a big thing happening in my life right now that Huey knows. It's a big thing, and three people know. And if you know, you know.
There's always something fun. Always something fun.
There's always something, but it's like, to understand at that point and understand. I mean, it's just been a discovery of knowing that you need people and that other
Mm.
people, and it's not just bringing anybody into your life. I still am the kind of person who's like very selective, and who gets the deepest part of who I am. But it is about finding other pieces of you outside of you, if that makes sense. Pieces of your heart outside of you or something. I don't know. Just made that up.
That was beautiful. That was
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I'm so torn because that was such a beautiful quote to end on, but we're not done
I
yet.
don't even know what
So
I don't even know the questions. You say questions and then I just say something else. I'm like,
I know
you ask me questions and then I just go off on other stuff
I
because
built
I'm
that into
hard
my
headed.
question writing. I built that into this whole.
I don't know why you ask me questions. You know how.
That was the plan all along, long, long.
The cowbell with the finger.
If I had the drumstick,
Just
it'd be
like
too loud.
lope.
Okay, people. All right. Here's a potentially final question for you, Mirage.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I want you to answer this question.
Shoot, hit me.
What do you
Go for
wish?
Mirage. Oh.
And it was funny because I called Mirage yesterday and she answered it go for Mirage, and I was stopped dead in my tracks. I had no idea how to respond to that. What do you wish everyone knew? And not
About me.
necessarily about you, but just and you could answer that as well. But the question is, what do you wish everyone knew?
Hmm. You know what? I wish that everyone knew. And I was talking to Rob Shields, who I'm doing Top Dog Underdog with, directing on
Ooh.
October 3rd. Please check the Facebook page. Um, but I wish that people knew that it doesn't matter, and whatever that means. Like, nothing, everything matters, right? But nothing matters. It's not that, it's not as important as you think it is. You know, like it doesn't, like whatever it is that you have and you think that this is everything, it's not. And there's something deeper to that. There's something more to it, which leads you to letting go of it.
Do you think? Because I know you, so I'm gonna ask you a question I know the answer to. Do you think that nothing matters, or that most things that we think matter don't matter? Because I know
Most
that
things,
you put your girls before everything in the whole world. That they matter
right,
the most to you of everything.
right. So,
So for them,
okay,
that's probably not the case. It's not you look. You don't look at them and say it's not them. You look at them like this is my whole world.
right, this is my whole world. They are my whole world. But like the control, like I don't control them. I don't, you know what I mean? They
Mm,
aren't.
mm,
So the concept of them
mm,
isn't my whole world. You know, it can't be my whole world.
mm. Right,
The
right,
love of them is my whole world. And the love of
right,
everything is my whole,
right,
you know what I mean?
right,
And you
right,
prioritize where your love is, and you prioritize
right,
where your heart is. And if you prioritize, and it can change, and that's
right,
okay. But if you
right,
prioritize according to where you are at that moment, then that's what matters.
right.
And whatever your mind is saying matters. And the it's not it's not the truth. So it's not like, so my girls are very important and my girls are everything to me, but they can't be everything to me.
Mm,
So they are, so my love of them is everything. And that's what
mm,
drives me to the next thing. So the show isn't everything. This
mm,
relationship isn't everything. The person that you're concerned for that is ill is not everything, because there's more to that situation. There's more to that situation. Sometimes, like like my sister is ill right now, and we weren't ever really that. I mean, we aren't physically close. So she's still in Denver and things like that. So, you know, we talk here and there, and we both have love of each other and stuff. And it's very sad that she's very sick. It's like COVID, it's like all of this. It's but I get to realize that I love my sister in this situation. Not that I'm asking for the situation. I get to realize that I love my sister. In COVID, a lot of us are starting to realize our power. If you look at it simply, then it's like, oh, and it only took 200,000 people to die. That's not what it's about.
right,
It's about us looking at things both simpler and more complex. It's almost like going into the most complex version of whatever it is that you're worried about, and then breaking through this film, and it's so simple. You know, it's just
mm,
this simplicity, and it's only like, and that's and when you say, what do I want anybody to know? I'm like, this really obscure like idea of how life is that I came upon through cancer and a lot of tragedy in my life. Like, it's hard to explain, but I would just say, just let it go. Let that stuff go. Like, everything that you have that you're worried about, these, in our industry, we worry about like our image, and we worry about what we look like, and we worry about, the relationships, and we worry about what people are saying about us and all of that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. I mean, when you get down to it, it really doesn't matter. What is. You can't, it doesn't make sense to waste your life on stuff like that. So that didn't make sense. I could tell, Hughie. I could tell.
Well, there you have it. Everyone should know. Thanks for coming.
Oh, I want to change my answer.
With Hughie and Mirage.
I want to change my answer. What you need to know is that this is a yucky drink, which means it's delicious.
Your yucky drink. That is a classic Mirage.
I want everybody to know that. I want everybody to know that.
That was a great answer.
I don't know what I'm talking about. That's what I want to know.
Thank you for coming to Discussions, where I interviewed Mirage. It was really great to be here on Facebook.
And YouTube.
We'll probably take a break next week because there's, I think, the debate between
Why can't I interview you?
Harris and Mike Pence is on Wednesday.
Oh, I see.
So I'm
going to interview you. I'll just interview you. We'll record it, and then we'll put it up.
No,
what? Are you lying? Are you lying?
Is that me?
You're lying. No. Are you lying? No,
Dang,
are you lying?
I was really just about to end this whole
No.
stream.
You're lying. Can you hear me?
I was about to end this whole stream.
You're lying. Can you hear me?
Just let it go. Should this just be how we... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Wait.
That's tough.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I take it off.
Can you hear me?
What about? I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? What?
Maybe it was with my head. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was my AirPods.
I think it's been you the whole time.
I believe that. Honestly.
Look, I was like, why can't I interview you, Mr. Emmy winner?
Well, because I had the idea to interview you, and I asked it first.
That doesn't make any sense. The world is large.
Okay, well, you can.
We could do stuff.
But not right now.
Okay, Hughie.
So, thank you for coming to our show where I interviewed Mirage.
These were different questions than I thought. Okay, sorry.
How did they pair up to your expectations?
I don't know. I thought you were going to ask some stuff that I didn't want to answer.
No,
but I went really deep on this, and I don't know. I think I need to eat something. Maybe it was the lack of carbs today.
I think your answers were lovely. I hope that my questions lived up to.
They were great.
The level of goodness.
I don't know what's happening to me. I'm going through some stuff. You know. Girl.
This is a big one. This is a big week.
I'm a Russian bot.
I'll tell you what, it's always fun being your friend.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me interview for the show.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Oh, sorry. Bye.
Bye.